Hello Year 1 and welcome to Monday's literacy lesson. Today we are going to carry on looking at the storybook The Way Back Home. We're also going to practice some of our handwriting and I'm going to talk to you about the word adjectives, and you're going to have a chance to show me everything you know about adjectives. So this is what our lesson's going to look like today. So we'll start by practicing those curly handwriting letters. Then I'm going to show you the monsters that I've described from The Way Back Home. And I've used adjectives to describe these monsters to give you a really good idea of what they look like. Then we're going to have a go at describing the boy from The Way Back Home using adjectives. That's going to be your main task today. And then after that, I've just written a few sentences and I want to see if you can spot my adjectives. Now, I'll talk to you about adjectives a little bit later, but first of all, we're going to start by using our handwriting. So first things you need to get. You need a pencil, a whiteboard pen, you need your whiteboard, and you need your workbook, and also your brain. I'll pause the video whilst you need to go and get those things, and then click play when you're ready. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is our handwriting. Now, I've written some on my board already to show you, but we're going to start with that K. Now, when you write with your K, you need to start at the top of the yellow space, okay? And you're going to curl around that caterpillar. K. Have a go at doing a few of these, and then when you're ready, click play. Now, the next letter we're going to do is an A. Apple. So again, we start at the top of that yellow space. We curl around the apple up to the top and down that leaf. And again, curl around the apple up to the top and down the leaf. Click pause, have a few goes at those, and then when you're ready, click play. The next letter we're going to have a go at is an O. Now for an O, we just need to think we've got an orange on our plate and we curl around our orange. Curl around our orange. And then you'll make your O. Have a go at those. Click pause. When you're ready again, click play for your next letter. The next letter we're going to have a look at is a Q. So we've got to imagine we've got a queen's head here. And we start at the top of the queen's head. We curl around her head, up to the top and down, and give her a flick. Curl around her head, up to the crown, and down, and give her a flick. Pause the video, have a few go at those, and then click play when you're ready. Now we're going to do a G, and a G starts at the top of the girl's head. Again, we're starting in the same position we have with all these other letters we've practiced today. We go around the girl's face, up to the top and down her plait and give her a curl. Around the girl's face, up to the top, down to her plait and give her a curl. Now, a G and a Q are descenders because they go below that yellow space. They have bits that hang down, so we call them descenders. Now you're going to have a go at a D. A D. Now we think about a dinosaur's big bottom, and we're going to curl around that dinosaur's bottom, up to his head and down to his toes. And again, around the dinosaur's bottom, up to his head and down to his toes. Now this letter is called an ascender because this time part of the letter goes above the yellow spacing. So this one is called an ascender. Now we've got 3 more letters to practice. Our first one is an E. So we're going to imagine we've got an egg. We've got that nice gooey bit in the middle and all the white around the outside. This time we need to start in the middle of our yellow line. We start in the middle, we go around the egg and flick. Around your egg and flick. Around your egg and flick. Pause the video, have a go at your E. They're quite tricky to do. And then when you're ready, click play to go on to the next letter. Your next letter is a S. So we think about a snake We're going to start at the top of this yellow line and we're going to sliver down our snake to the bottom. And then again, we're going to start at the top, sliver down the snake to the bottom. The next letter, the final one we're going to do today, is a F. Now this is an ascender, like our D, because it has parts of the letter that go above that yellow spacing. And for this letter, we need to start in the white bit at the top. So we think about our flower. We go round the flower, down the stem, and then we cross through our leaf. Around the flower, down the stem, cross through the leaf. Excellent. Pause the video, have a few goes at those. If there's any you found really tricky, maybe you could have a go at doing those again. And then when you're ready, click play, and I'm going to read you the story The Way Back Home. The Way Back Home by Oliver Jeffers. Once there was a boy, and one day he was putting his things back in the cupboard. He found an aeroplane. He didn't remember leaving it there, but he thought he'd take it out for a go right away. The plane lifted off the ground and up into the sky. Higher and higher and higher. It's gone right up into space. Suddenly, the plane spluttered. It ran out of petrol. Oh no. Now the boy was stuck on the moon. What was he to do? Oh yes, look, there he is, really far away from Earth, isn't he? He was all alone and afraid, and soon his torch began to go out. My goodness, it's got very dark, hasn't it? Up in space, someone else was in trouble too. His engine had broken. Oh look, there's an alien. And steering the ship towards a flicker of light, he landed on the moon with a bump. There he is at the top of the moon, and the boy's at the bottom of the moon. Both the boy and the Martian could hear noises in the dark, and both feared the worst. They thought it was monsters. But as their eyes got used to the dark, they both realised they'd met someone else in trouble. They weren't alone anymore. Oh, they're feeling happy. They could help each other maybe. The boy showed the Martian his empty petrol tank, and the Martian showed the boy his broken engine. Together, they thought of ways to fix their machine and how to get them both back home. Oh yes, you can see, look, all that planning going on in that picture. You drawing out their designs. Brilliant ideas. The boy jumped down to Earth. The boy jumped down to Earth to get the things they would need. Right down into the sea. Lucky he had a parachute, isn't it? And swam towards home. Gosh, there he is. Hope he doesn't get too tired. But by the time he got there, the boy was tired. He was tired out. So he sat in his favourite chair just to catch his breath. His favourite programme was just starting, and he settled down to watch. Oh no, had he forgotten about his friend? Suddenly, he remembered, oh thank goodness, what he should be doing and rushed off to the cupboard to get what he needed. He ran inside and shouted, he ran outside and shouted, but there was no reply. He couldn't be heard. The boy climbed to higher ground, called again and waited. Is he going to get heard this time? Yes, this time a rope was lowered. The boy began to climb and the Martian began to pull. What brilliant teamwork. and soon the boy was back on the moon. How fantastic. They've worked together. The boy fixed up the Martian's engine with the right spanner, and the Martian filled the boy's petrol tank. They said goodbye and thanked each other for their help. They wondered if they'd ever meet each other again. Oh, they look a little bit sad, don't they? They've made friends and now they've got to go different places. I wonder if they'll be able to keep in touch. After a long night, they were both finally off the moon. The boy went one way and the Martian went another, both on their way back home. Oh, and that's the title of the book, isn't it? Ah, I do hope they got to keep in touch. Excellent, look, the boy's got a package. And in that package, there's a walkie-talkie. And I think on the other end of that walkie-talkie is the Martian. So they did get to keep in touch. That's great. I do like a story with a happy ending. Brilliant. Let's go on to our next task. Now, today we're going to look at how do brilliant writers describe using adjectives. And we're going to be exploring this for a little while. Now, if we think about the word adjective, some of you might know what that is. Others might not be too sure. If you imagine I couldn't see anything in the room you're in right now, which I can't, and you have to describe something to me. You have to tell me about what it looks like, what it feels like, what it smells like, maybe even what it tastes like if it's some food. You can use all your different senses to help you describe that object to me. And then I would get a good idea in my mind of what it was and how it looks. So that's what an adjective is. It's a describing word, a word we use to describe what something looks like. So I've had a go at making lots of adjectives here on this picture of this monster. So you can see here is my monster, and he has got some very big pointy horns. They are white pointy horns. I've also said he has some bushy brown eyebrows, and here are his bushy brown eyebrows. Oh, he also has some short fat fingers. In fact, he has 4 short fat fingers. He also has orange fuzzy fur. He has long thin legs. You can see his long thin legs here. And he has a huge body. This gives you an idea of what he looks like. He's got white teeth, which you can see here. Now, I've also described another monster. I've described this monster that was also from the book. And he has 3 scary eyes. Can you see them? 1, 2, 3. So I've described here, and I told you he's got 3. And I've told you that they're scary. So they're not lovely, nice eyes. They're scary eyes. He's got 3 scary eyes. I'm also going to describe his tongue to you. And what I've said is he has got a long, slimy tongue. Ugh, sounds horrible. Here he has a blue body. I could have said he's got a big blue body, a huge blue body, a scaly blue body. I've just used blue body there. Here I've said slim legs. They're very thin, and so I describe them as saying they're slim legs. I've also talked about his teeth. He's got lots of teeth and they are very, very sharp. Sharp teeth. Now, if we stay on this page for a moment, you'll notice that sometimes I've used an adjective and then the noun, and I haven't used one of these. And that's because I don't need to use a comma if I'm just using one adjective. But if I'm putting 2 adjectives together, I need to break them up with a comma because I'm forming a bit of a list. Now here's a picture of the boy, and I would like you today to try and describe this boy for me. Now if we just look at him for a little bit, we could talk about his face, couldn't we? He's got very small eyes. He has a very long nose. He's got a big smiley mouth. He's got these glass-looking goggles. He's got a brown helmet. He's got this lovely brown and white scarf. He's got a thick woolly brown jumper on, and he's got some very long grey or black trousers on. Now, I would love for you to describe him for me today. So if you are in our green task, I would like on a piece of paper you to write down all these letters here and then chop them up and hide them and muddle them all up. Your task is to try and work out what words, what adjectives I've used to describe the boy. So you can try and work out which words I'm using. And then, sorry, can you write them down on your whiteboards for me? If you want to have a go at the yellow task today, you can think of some labels for the captions to describe the boy. So for example, you could put soft brown jumper. And then you're going to practice writing those on your whiteboard. And remember, make sure you use your neatest handwriting. That's really, really important. And if you want to have a go at the red task today, I would like you to have a go at writing some sentences to describe the boy. So you could write something like, the boy has a soft brown jumper. Now, if you're writing sentences, we need to remember capital letters, full stops, and finger spaces. And remember, if you are using more than one adjective, like I have in my example, make sure to add a comma after your first adjective. But if you're only using one adjective, don't worry, you don't need a comma. Then you can also have a go at practicing these on your whiteboards. Okay, pause the video now, have a go at this, and I look forward to your adults taking photos and sending them in to us via Tapestry. Your final task is to try and spot my adjectives. So here I've got a sentence for you. In fact, I've got 3 sentences. The first one says, the little boy has a brown hat on his head. Now, could you try and spot the adjectives in this sentence? I can see 2 adjectives in that sentence. The second sentence says he is wearing a pair of shiny goggles. I wonder if you could spot my adjectives in that sentence. I can only see 1 there. His brown and white scarf is very long. Ooh, I wonder how many adjectives you can spot there. Have a pause, try and spot them. You don't need to write anything down. It's just for you to try and work it out. And then when you click play, there'll be the next slide with all the answers on. And here you go. Here's the last slide. So you can see the little boy has a brown hat. So instead of just saying the boy has a hat, I've told you he's a little boy and I told you the colour of his hat. And instead of just saying he's wearing a pair of goggles, I told you that his goggles are shiny. And instead of just saying he has a scarf on, I've told you it's brown and white and very long. By adding adjectives, we can just give a little bit more information to our readers, making our work a bit more exciting. Thank you so much for all your hard work today. Remember to ask your grown-ups to share any of the work you've done on our tapestries so that we can see them. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye.